YouTube. How's it going, everybody? It's ADR, and I've got a not a build guide, not a strategy guide, but just a informational video today. I've had a lot of people come into the live stream on YouTube or Twitch. Shout out to Twitch and the YouTube. Oftentimes they say, I'm stuck at this point. How do I progress? It's either how do I progress to T7? How do I progress to T8? How much do I need to progress to profound? And so I just want to go through some maybe not so obvious things that you can do to increase your power level. I'll cover gear a little bit because like there are some things I want to point out about gear, but there are just so many avenues of increasing your damage or your survivability, depending on what your needs are. And I think many of them are not going to be obvious to a new player. And I did touch on these in the survival guide video that I posted, but I think having a video strictly based on this is going to be the most beneficial. So let's go ahead and hop into that, and we'll go ahead and get started. The first thing that I would like to point out is just look to upgrade your actual level of your gear. Starting at level 86 and going up to level 89, you can craft T1 modifiers. And then for T2 modifiers, it's going to be item level 82 to 85. See, now here's the thing that you've got to know about the modifiers. So if we come over here and we just click on any modifier, if we click this eye icon, we can actually see the tiers. And if you notice, it's a pretty large jump, right? Like the bottom of this is at the top of this is the bottom of this, essentially. Like let's go look at the just the flat damage roll, right? The top end is 50 here, it's 72 here. That is basically a 50% increase on your top end every time you go up. It is a very, very, very substantial difference. The difference between T2 mods and T1 mods is insane, and it just goes down the tier. Like the difference between tier 3 mods and tier 2 mods is just as impactful. It's just, you've got to be upgrading your mods. Yes, getting T1s could be expensive. Ember prices have come down considerably. I know we were all struggling. With precious embers. These were sitting at almost half an FE a piece. They are now down to a much more manageable and much more reasonable price. So just be aware of that. Also, if you need materials to try to craft your gear, do the boss conquest. You don't lose anything if you can't keep progressing this, but as you progress it, you'll get soulbound crafting materials that you can use. And then once you've run out of the soulbound crafting materials, as you get higher and higher, you eventually start getting tax vouchers, which you can use to get returns on your taxes from the auction house. The same thing for the Supreme Showdown. Yeah, maybe you can't make it to 13, maybe you can't make it to 19, 20. But if you go in and do number 1, you'll get some crafting materials. You go in and do number 2, you'll get some crafting materials. You also get pulls for pets and stuff, which is also something that could be useful for you. So just don't neglect those avenues. Also, city defense, you have to do 2 people for this, but you also get rewards for doing this as well. The next thing I want to talk about is going to be your hero memories. This is a very often neglected part of a character, and let me tell you, it is a mistake to do so. Neglecting hero memories can literally be the difference between 50% damage to 100% damage potentially, depending on what you roll on your memories. Memories are a massive source of damage. Your primary memory is always going to be a stat memory, so intelligence, strength, or dexterity. You should not be using anything else here. And if you don't know, those stats are multipliers. If you come and look at your character sheet and you look at strength or dex or intelligence, every 2 points of a stat, you get 1% additional skill damage. If you don't know what stats your skill uses, you just come in, you click on the skill, main stat right there. So mine is intelligence. Some skills have multiple, so just double check that. Another easy to overlook thing is going to be your candle mods. You have your first candle slot unlocked by default. Once you have access to 20 pages of Eterna, which are these right here, they are extremely cheap. You get 20 of those. You come over to candle right here. You go to, which one is it? Psalms of Eterna, and you put those 20 pages right here in the bottom node. That will unlock your second candle slot. Candles can have incredibly strong mods on them. Right now, I'm getting Rampage, which is basically 1% movement speed, skill area, and damage on kill, stacking up to 20 times. And then I'm also getting Cast an Additional Curse. If you want to see what the candle mods are, you can simply come over to the auction house, go to advanced, go to soul candles, and then type, you could type positive, or you can just scroll through this and look. Be careful though, because if you have T0 mods on here, you will incur a negative affix on here as well. So just make sure that the negative affixes that come on your candle are something that you can handle, right? Make sure that make sure that you understand your build, so you understand what will hinder you and what will hurt you. As far as the actual affixes, there are tons of things in here. There's like really great defensive mods in here. There's the potential to have like extra skill links on your main skill, like additional damage taken, like movement speed, max channels, like all kinds of things, max jumps. There are many mods in here. So take your time, get familiar with the candle system and understand what's available to you. In regard to skills themselves, make sure you are leveling your skills and make sure that you're leveling your canvas skills. If your build uses a magnificent and/or a noble skill, you can feed copies of this into itself to increase its level. That will increase this number right here. At level 5, it will be 20% additional damage. Additional damage is a multiplier. Getting these up to level 5 gives you a 40% multiplier. It's a lot of damage. If you don't know how to do that, you just get your copies along with some essence from the canvas right here, the inspiration essence. You come over to the Blessed Mother Al Niv, you click on skill advancement, you click on your skill, and then, well, here, I'll click this one. You click on this, it'll load in the skill that you want to feed, and then you click down here, and it'll pull up a menu of your duplicates that you can then begin feeding into that. In regard to battle pack spirits, even if you don't have legendary pets, you can still put pets in here that will be beneficial for you. Many of the purple pets are all actually very strong, especially if you get them up to like level 5 or level 6. Some of the level 6 purple pets are better than the level 1 legendary pets, or just as good. So make sure that you're doing that. Just use what you got. When it comes to pack spirits, the name of the game is use what you have. Don't stress so much about what you don't have. Worry about what you do have and how you could use it to benefit your build. And also on the pack spirit page, this is the place where you apply destinies and kismets. What these do is the nodes that you would get from your pet, you can override them with fates, kismets, and destinies. You have a total of 9 of the small nodes that you can override, and you can override a total of 4 of the large nodes. These things range in price from 5 fee up to thousands upon thousands, depending on what they are. If you don't know how to find those, you simply come into the auction house yet again, come down to Destiny, and then you can just sort through, and they do have it kind of sorted based on what it is. So like melee, projectile, spell, micro fates, and medium fates. And then make sure, like there are some of these orange ones require you to have 2 copies of it for it to take effect, so just be aware of that. Some characters are able to swap either a talent tree, a core talent, and or a hero trait to get maximum damage based on what aspect they're doing. For example, Thea 3 is the perfect example of this. Her hero trait here at level 60, Disgraced Minister and Tarnished Sage. This is perfect for single target. This is amazing for while you're mapping and going through AoE situations. And you can just swap those as needed. Make sure that you swap those in town. You cannot swap those when you're out of town. Also, your core talents are always free for you to change around as need be. So for example, with the build that I'm currently running, I use Affliction on single target bossing, and I use Plague whenever I'm in a map situation. While I'm in here, slates are a huge one. Pedigrees, I'm getting 2 core talents from my pedigree. And sometimes you can find double core talents for cheap. Don't just look for a single 2 core talents if you can choose not to. Instead, just get familiar with the core talents and just like make a list of things that might be good for you or beneficial for you, and then search based off of that and just look for anything that has 2 talents that you can use. And then just make sure that you're filling in your slates, getting as many good items as you can. And make sure you're filling out your mods as well. You really want to fill these in. Don't leave these empty unless you're trying to resell the slate after you use it. But generally, if you're looking for power, you probably should be putting those points in. And then the last thing I want to speak, just very briefly speak on, is going to be corrosion. Corrosion is basically balling, if you're familiar with Path of Exile. What it does is you come over, you go to the auction house, you buy, the Amberon cores are very cheap. I bought 999 of them for like 40 FE. And you can also buy the big version, the orange version of this, which gives you the option of getting 2 corruptions. However, it is much more expensive, where I bought a full stack of the single corrode tokens for 40. A single copy of the double corrode is probably going to run you like 50 to 60 FE. Once you have it though, you can come over here. Let me see if I have an item I can corrode for you. Let me grab something. Here, I'll grab this solid river. When you have your item, you just come over to this person right here. You hit corrosion. You place your item in. If you're single corroding, you're going to be on this top option. If you're double corroding, you're going to be on the bottom option. And then when you're in here, when you're in this menu, you can actually click on the different options to see what the chance is. So 25, 25, 20, 30 right there, and then 20 right here. The first option will add an implicit to your gear. The second option will basically re-roll the stats ranges of your gear, so basically a Divine Orb from Path of Exile. If you're doing the double corruption, this will give you the option to potentially hit 2 upgrades on your gear instead of 1. This is just the single corruption, and then this will just corrode the item and do nothing. If you get anything out of this list that is not upgrade an item or upgrade a tier, so not this one or this one, the item will become bound to your account. You will not be able to sell it anymore. So make sure that you're aware of this. I'll go ahead and corrode this one now. We got an upgrade. Nice. That's actually a pretty massive upgrade. So this just went from a 27% multiplier to damage to a 49% multiplier to damage. Also, I think I just made a bunch of money. Hold on. Hey, wait a minute. Wait, no. Wait, this is worth nothing? That's crazy. Guys, it's worth nothing. Oh, wait, hold on. Excuse me. Wait a minute. There we go. Okay, so it went from being worth 20 something to being worth 300 something. It's about 300. So there you go. So yeah, just be aware of these different aspects. If you're unsure of anything, please feel free, join my Discord. The link is always in every video in the description. We've got people in here asking for help right now in regard to different things of the game, asking for build help options where we can pull up build codes and go over things and assist you through that way. And then we can just come in and talk about the game. Also, I've got a poll active right now. I'm looking to see what people might be interested in regard to a reroll out of me. And I've got a couple of options up there. So if you want to vote in that poll, as of the recording of this video, there's still 17 hours on there. So go throw a vote. Anyway, I will see you all at the next live stream. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you're progressing well. And if not, ask and we'll get you sorted out. Okay. Have a good day. I'm out of here.